Jalili says Syria has a basic role in supporting resistance and the solution of the crisis must come from within Syria. And a huge march in New Delhi in support of Syria, and Larijani condemns the Israeli attacks on Jamraya. Suicide attack near At-Taji prison in Baghdad, Iraq, leaves many casualties. Good afternoon, this is news in English from the Syrian Al Television in Damascus. Dr. Said Jalili, Secretary of the Higher Council of National Security in Iran, asserted that Syria has a basic role in supporting resistance. Syria remained the steadfast castle in opposition of systems that sought compromises with the Zionist entity. He added that Syria and its government remained steadfast against aggressive policies that continued to enjoy the support of its people who choose the path of dignity. In a press conference in Damascus today, Mr. Jalili said that Syria defended its just cause and that is why it is now targeted by the plots of its enemies. Iran stressed from the beginning that the solution of the crisis would come from inside Syria. Supporting the Syrian people cannot come through destroying Syria's infrastructure. It rather comes from national dialogue. Mr. Jalili said that the aim of the plot against Syria is to make the Islamic world turn a blind eye to the crimes of the Zionists. The Zionists are plotting to compensate their weakness. However, they will regret their aggression on Syria exactly as they have regretted their previous wars. Jalili pointed out that the political program presented by President Assad would be a suitable base for national dialogue. He expressed hope that this dialogue would lead to positive results. He affirmed that the military solution is not the outlet of the crisis and that foreign intervention and violent acts of terrorism are all condemned. Iran supported the right to benefit from nuclear energy for peaceful purposes, but it strongly rejects the proliferation of nuclear weapons in the region and calls for emptying it of weapons of mass destruction. In Tehran, the chairman of the Iranian Shura Council, Ali Larijani, condemned the Israeli attack on the Center of Scientific Research in the Damascus countryside, affirming that the attack is part of the plots against Syria. In a telephone call with Muhammad Jihad al-Laham, Speaker of the People's Assembly, Mr. Larijani asserted that the Syrian people would defeat the plot and continue to be steadfast in support of resistance. Mr. al-Laham expressed appreciation of Iran's support to the Syrian people against plots and Zionist aggression. He asserted that the plotting states remain silent vis-à-vis the Israeli aggression. New Delhi witnessed a large popular march under the slogan Syria and India, Eternal Friendship. The march was joined by huge crowds from civil parties and societies in solidarity with Syria and in its war against terrorism and in condemnation of the Israeli attack on the Center of Scientific Research in Jamraya. The demonstrators marched to the Syrian embassy, greeting the Syrian army and asserting that Israel and the so-called Al-Nusra Front were partners in terrorist crimes against Syria and its people. They asserted that there was no difference between the crimes of Al-Qaeda in Mali, Libya, Afghanistan, Iraq and Syria. The parties of the Welfare and Direct Democracy in Mauritania condemned the Israeli raid on Syria and denounced the silence of the Arab League and the international community vis-à-vis this aggression. The two parties asserted that the cowardly raid exposed the unity of the aims of the armed terrorist gangs, the Zionist entity, the NATO states, and the Arab reactionary forces. They also condemned the policy of double standards applied by America and its allies in the region. They also called upon all the active national forces in the Arab arena to stand against the systematic attempts of sabotage targeting the Arab nation. The two parties reaffirmed their full support of Syria against this savage Zionist aggression. A media source said that special units of the Syrian Arab Army were able to free the Russian citizen Viktor Gorilov and Abdel-Sattar Hassoun, along with Italian citizens Billy Omo, who were kidnapped by a terrorist armed group on the 12th of January in the area of Hesye in Homs countryside. The source added that Gorilov is an engineer and works in a steel factory of Hamisho Company in Aleppo, while Hassoun works as a translator with engineer Gorilov. The Syrian armed forces and the border guard foiled a terrorist infiltration attempt from Lebanon in Talkalakh countryside and Homs countryside. Last night, an official source told news reporters that the terrorists tried to infiltrate from Adlin and Azir sites and the Syrian-Lebanese borders using vehicles and motorcycles before the army units repelled them, forcing them to retreat back into Lebanese territories. The source added that a unit of the armed forces destroyed a car equipped with a heavy machine gun along with the terrorists inside it near Al-Auja roundabout at the southern entrance of Al-Husn town in Talkalakh countryside. Within the same context, units of the Syrian Arab Army killed and wounded many armed terrorists who have committed acts of intimidation and attacks near the bus terminal area. One of the killed terrorists is Abdulaziz Mahmoud and another is Muhammad Yusuf. Also in Derbin village near Al-Rastan, the army destroyed a command center that was being used by the terrorist groups, including a number of vehicles equipped with heavy machine guns. Army units eliminated the terrorist gatherings in the northwestern sector of Daraya in Damascus countryside, destroying their weapons and dens. An official source told news reporters that the armed forces restored security and stability to the area extending from the cultural center and Sadiq al-Amin mosque. The source added that trenches and tunnels the terrorists dug around Al-Sadiq al-Amin mosque for storing weapons were discovered. The bomb squads also dismantled explosive devices of various weights planted by terrorists in the perimeter of Al-Sadiq al-Amin mosque and the neighboring quarters. In cooperation with citizens and locals, a unit of the Syrian Arab Army eliminated a terrorist group on the road to Palmyra Deir Zor. Another army unit killed a number of terrorists in Al-Hawiqa and Al-Mayadin in Deir Zor countryside. In Iraq, a terrorist suicide bomb blast took place near At-Taji prison north of Baghdad, killing a number of people and injuring others. In Kirkuk, a gunman assassinated 4 people by gunfire a day after at least 30 people were killed in a terrorist attack that targeted the building of a police command in the same city. In Mali, the French army launched heavy airstrikes from the northern Kidal region, the last stronghold of the armed men near the border with Algeria. French sources said that the area of Kidal and Ifoktas heights in the place where 7 French hostages were held. The source added that the airstrikes on the north of Kidal in Tizalit targeted logistic warehouses and centers for training fighters loyal to Al-Qaeda. In Cuba, legislative elections were held to choose 612 parliamentary seats. After casting his vote, former Cuban President Fidel Castro said that the Cuban people is a revolutionary one who has made real sacrifices, a fact that is so clear and the history will record it. The Cuban people has resisted sanctions for 50 years. According to the Cuban constitution, the new parliament will elect a state council whose 30 members will elect a president of Cuba on the 24th of February. With this, we come to the end of our news for today. For more details, you can visit our website in English, www.syriaonline.sy. Stay with us, the latest in economy after the break.